Hello, how's it going? We're going to be talking about everything nightclub shooting today. It's going to be very exciting. Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to a brand new video. Today's video is going to be talking about the wonderful opportunity we were given as of yesterday at the time of filming. We were given the wonderful opportunity to be able to showcase the second room in the chapel, which is a local nightclub here in Salisbury, actually showcasing their new room, their new old room, reopening again since COVID. So that was very exciting, and we're really grateful to Amanda from the chapel. So if you're watching, Amanda, thank you ever so much for giving us the opportunity. And so I wanted to give some of the kind of tips and tricks and the rig breakdown as well, because some of you were asking questions on how shooting in a nightclub kind of works or how my experiences was. So I thought I would sit down and have this conversation with you. So the main thing really that I've found when it comes to nightclub shooting in general is there's no light, right? There's no light at all. So if you do have the ability to rig your camera in such a way, so I'll start on my rig and then we'll work kind of through the tips and tricks on how you go about, I would recommend you go about taking shots, and how you recommend, and how I kind of tackled a promotional piece for the chapel, so to speak. But if you can bring your own panel, then do. I personally rigged the GH5 with a shotgun microphone on the first cold shoe on the top of the tilter cage that currently has the lavalier pack on it, with my Rode video mic shotgun microphone to just catch ambient noise, people having a good time, that kind of thing. Unfortunately, we won't be able to use half of it because half of the songs that are played in nightclubs are normally copyrighted really, really badly. So you need to work around that and kind of cut to music more than necessarily just cutting up the clips. And then also on the second cold shoe mount, I then had the LED panel, which is currently illuminating me now, which I'll leave all these links to all the gear I'm talking about in the description down below. And then I would recommend you need as low light lens as you can get. So personally for me, I used the Sigma 18-35 f1.8. That allowed me to step my aperture down so that I was allowing more light to hit the sensor. It means I didn't need to crank my ISO. I think the max ISO I kind of got to was probably about 1600, which isn't great on the GH5, but it's feasibly or perceivably usable in the respect of grain level. If you go anywhere above that, it can become really, really too noisy and very difficult to work with. And that's kind of the rig. And then I had the top handle as a side handle, which is not an ideal design, but is a design nonetheless that works. And the reason why you want that is because firstly I was using the top where the top handle would actually go, but I found personally that holding the camera like this gave me a lot more control when it came to actually showcasing and actually getting the shots that I was really looking for. Because for me, and one of the first things I would suggest to you if you are looking to shoot in a nightclub is try to bring a smaller rig as possible. You don't really want to have to take gear bags with you or tripods or anything large or like a gimbal or etc., because what I found is the busier the night gets on, the more and more the club's going to fill up, and then the more invisible you want to be completely honest, because it's this very weird concept whenever there's drunk people around, but they go from basically seeing not wanting to be on camera to being very squeamish around cameras, because a lot of what we talk about here on Brightner Media is that people find it very difficult to be on camera. Now the opposite happens when alcohol's involved, and everyone wants to be on camera, and it's quite they can be perceived as quite boisterous because of the level of alcohol. So that's just one of the charms of working in a nightclub. But full respect to the security team at the chapel as well. They are a pleasure to work with as always, and to be honest with you, I felt really, really safe walking around with the amount of kit I did have. As I say, I had the Sigma on me, the GH5, a Rode mic, side handle, and then the panel light as well that I toggled on and off whenever I needed. It really just depends on what you're looking for, but that kind of leads on quite nicely to using the available light that you do have. So there's obviously a lot of it is like the bar light or the dancey-esque light. I'm not really sure the technical term on them. or the spotlights that move around, or the strobes that do get triggered, you know, in that respect. So you can use those lights and use available lights, and what I like to do is really silhouette my subjects specifically, which helps from not necessarily 100% knowing who they are, number one, but also number two, it also it gives that a little bit more of an atmosphere and a little bit more of intrigue. So I would recommend that you should bounce, and I personally tried to bounce between silhouetted shots and then illuminated shots where they asked me to take a photograph. Clearly I was a videographer, and I did explain I was a videographer, but when people are drunk out of their mind, they have no idea. And then it was kind of just the process of like establishing stuff. So we got some shots outside, we got some shots of signage, we got people walking in, you know, more general event-based stuff, to be honest. And then we just got people having a good time, trying to get shots of the DJ, them doing those things. And for me, it was really important to also showcase that second room. So one of the benefits of that room specifically is that the fact that it's multi-leveled. So there is the DJ decks where the old organ used to be, and it's really, really good. So I tried to get some contact shots of the DJ and then the organ behind him as he was doing his thing, but then also showing his thing, and then also showing over his head, or showing using him as the foreground and looking over down into what can only be described as basically the pit of people that are having a good time and enjoying themselves and yada yada yada. So, you know, in that respect, and giving that context, especially when he's talking to them about raving and such in that respect. So but then I also wanted to get some shots from the upper balcony area. So we were lucky enough to be given all access to the chapel areas and etc. So we had a mix between the courtyard, which is what I talked about a little bit before, and then the actual chapel room itself, which is fantastic, was fantastic, and is one of my favorite rooms to shoot in, just because of how beautiful it is as well. And yeah, so then we just mixed up some shots, getting it from the balcony looking down. What we're trying to do is we're trying to get a mix of the wides to establish how busy it is and how full it is, and etc. But also then get into more intimate moments, specifically whether it's just people having a good time, people drinking, that kind of thing. And then what we're going to do is we're going to cut those all together to give a real sense and a real vibe of the party atmosphere that really was there on the chapel. And I think the music should also align with that. So, you know, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you took value from it. And, you know, that was just kind of my 2 cents and kind of my thoughts on how I tackled personally shooting with and at a nightclub. And, you know, as I shoot other things that, you know, there may be challenges, or there is sometimes challenges, I'll be sure to let you know. And, you know, as always, I do like to share my experiences in creating these films and creating promotional material and you know, and helping businesses understand how they leverage video specifically. So if you did enjoy this video and it did intrigue your curiosity on how video could help your business, then feel free to drop me an email. I'll leave my information somewhere around this video. So thank you ever so much. I'll see you very, very soon for a brand new video. And thanks again to the chapel, and I'll see you very, very soon.